for the Radiant at this, like if they're obviously still hanging on to the hope of winning this game, I think they shouldn't farm the Dragon Knight. He is not going to become relevant unless they win multiple team fights in a row. So for him to buy back to save even just a melee Rex, I think is the right call here. It's the Sven and the Timber that need to get items, especially the Sven. If he can get some sort of like even just a BKB at this point would work wonders here for Zizzy.
Just look at the lineup. And
got a crest too now on Dazzle.
The second I just see him getting a BKB, Aoi will just look to control him as much as he can or isolate him while he triggers the BKB so he can just mop up this Sven nice and quick. And while he doesn't have that BKB, there's Fresh Heaven's Halberd, which was picked up over on Aoi as well. Like, Sven's worst enemy right now is the Naga Siren. Everything she does just destroys what he does.
Yeah. And yeah, that's the problem. Even with a BKB, he can still get snared and shut down with the rest of the team put to sleep. But it's the path he has to take. There's no other option. They're basically very, very cornered here. And EG are looking to push them off the edge.
Yep, they're coming in. Sumail the first one. Sleight of Fissurian Chain again being used over on that Timbersaw. With no reactive armor charges being built up. It hurts like hell. And Fear with the ulti on, there's another Sleight of Fissurian Chain over on Moominda. And the blink forwards, Windermelons catches out Fear. That sentry wasn't longer there, and Aoi just stops the fight. And in fact, they got Sven and DK right on top of each other. Fear triggering up that BKB. Windermelons dying so quickly. I don't even see how that Sven instantly popped, but Windermelons, the Shallow Grave keeps him alive. But Sumail runs backwards. It's a double kill for him. Fly may even just burn from this. And with the shards coming in, yep, they'll be ready to take it. Complexity being farmed up inside their base. I don't know if they're going to have the same mindset about game one, where despite to the bitter end, that EG are so powerful right now, they'll kill off every single player of Complexity. The fact that Z-Freak is inside of his fountain isn't even a saving grace. They will take the mid racks, they've taken bottom racks, and they will look to take the full series here, EG, and push themselves into the semi-finals of the International Fight. Sumail wants blood, and Z-Freak is almost going to give it to him.
EG, what an incredible game from them this was, actually. There are just so many small plays that add up over the course of this game. It wasn't like just one single big team fight you could say won it. It was all of these 3-on-3s, skirmishes, small fights. They simply outclassed Complexity on pretty much every single move in this game.
They really did. Very well played. It was a superb performance of Dota. You could look back at it for a while. I know a lot of EG fans will, and Complexity will have to study it as well, as they will now drop into the lower bracket of TI5, while EG will wait to see their opponents and they can greet the local crowd. They've given them one hell of a show. Evil Geniuses moving into that semi-final to face up against either Secret or eHome later on today. For now, though, we'll throw it back over to the analyst desk to get the thought on the series.
Thank you very much to Toby. And Synderen down there on the floor in the key arena. Complexity will now fall down to that lower bracket. Have put up a reasonable fight in the first game, but the second game, gentlemen, as Toby rightly pointed out, was a supreme display of skill from Evil Geniuses. Alan, you're back on the desk, and great to have you back here. What did you make of that?
I mean, too much to mail. Plain and simple. I thought Complexity's lanes early on were decent, but just the composition of those lanes forced them to virtually leave Swindle on an island mid against Sumail, and he just got so far ahead from the very beginning in CS that he just dominated the mid game. I mean, 22 kills, second most so far at this TI. Only Aggressive on his gyrocopter has topped that mark. Just too much of the young gun for EG.
Okay, Melina, you said earlier on, he made the tweet this morning that said, hope you're ready.
It was
the Sumail show. And that really was the Sumail show, second game in.
Those kind of losses are really demoralizing if you're Complexity, because you just got outplayed. It wasn't, I mean, banning the Naga is dubious, not banning the Naga rather, but at the same time, I mean, Sumail just outplayed them at so many turns, and he's really good with the flashy heroes like Ember Spirit.
Okay, we've got a couple of clips from the game just to bring it up. But Toby made the point in the commentary that this is one of those games where all of the teams will go back and watch it, and I think it's almost worth anyone going back to watch it because of how well they played. This is from 16 minutes and 30 into the game, and it was a triple kill in the top for EG. So talk us through this one, Seb.
And Sumail.
Well, it's a move that EG smokes around to catch them when they're pushing the tower. Sumail's open, but it's really hard to deal with the Ember at this stage because he has so much backup and so much disabled behind him. And the sleep has been key, as we said, during all those fights. The sleep, they can decide whenever they're in trouble, he just sleeps, they reposition, and they reopen. And Ember is one of those heroes that benefits a lot from repositioning. And then he goes back in again, the ulti from Crystal Maiden, very well used when they don't have it disabled to cancel it. Great ulti by PPD, and they chase them down forever. That's the strength of Ember. You can never, escape an Ember Spirit. So he's gonna keep on using his spells. They can't go back. They have to turn and fight. It's the only way they have to actually deal with him. But that's not even an option because if they turn, they die. So yeah, great play by Sumail, and his positioning in those fights has been on point.
Okay.
And he never stops. Even Timbersaw can run away from him.
Thank you very much. And in the sense of the first one was a little bit of a struggle. I don't want to say too much of a struggle. Complexity had the early game, obviously, but how does that rank up there for EG now? How much confidence will they get from that in moving through to the semi-final? They've kind of got the monkey off their back now. They've got that out of the way, and they can now just focus on trying to get to the final.
I don't think EG is. I think they came into that match quite prepared, and I'd like to think they're the type of team that just step by step. So they had to beat Complexity, done, and now they're gonna look to for the next match as if nothing happened. The next match is gonna be a new one, a completely new one. They're not gonna be like, we beat Complexity, we can go on.
Okay, going to get the thoughts of Malini and Winter in just a moment, but Fear, fresh from his victory, is with Casey in the players' room.
Hello! Yes, I have Fear, as you mentioned. Congratulations, first off. 2 very decisive wins. How did it feel in the pods there for you?
It felt really good. We had a rough game 1. We were kind of nervous there, but after we got one fight, the rest of that game and the game after felt really good for us.
What have you learned coming out of group stage that you maybe had to implement facing the big stage when you came in for the international?
We're still learning, actually. It's just mainly a lot of teams like changing hero picks up and they like using your hero picks, so we're just figuring out how we want to pick in which order that'll work best for us so we can get what we want for the most part.
PPD is known as being one of the best drafters. How do you think the draft went for you guys for both games?
Oh, very well. We spend a lot of time thinking about the draft and talking about it, but he in particular spends the most time just analyzing each draft and like which heroes were the best at fitting which players, and then we just sit down and talk about how we want to place, our lanes, our overall strategy, and then we just come out with strategies, and most of them, they come out pretty well for us because we put the time and effort in.
Well, it showed. You guys look great out there.
Thank you.
How does it feel being back on the big stage, having not been here for a few years? I mean, I know that a lot of your fans are really excited to see you back. How did it feel for you?
It's really nice. I love playing at TI. Unfortunately, I haven't played the last 2 years, so being able to play again is just super nice for me. It's obviously TI's everyone's dreams. It's mine as well. So being back here was just great.
You were featured in Free to Play, the documentary that Valve did, and because of that, and also because of the way that you play, you have a lot of fans who aren't just super into the Dota 2 community, but people who are discovering Dota because of you. How does it feel to represent the community in that way?
It feels great to be like one of the North American faces, I suppose we could say. So it's really nice to see people come up to me and they're really passionate about the game, and I get to talk to them back because I'm also really passionate. So I love having conversations at the fan signings and stuff like that. It's really fun. I'm really stoked every time someone comes up and oh, I'm your big fan.
How has the international changed for you in the years since you've been back?
It's evolved a lot. There's more players. The setups are better. Like the international one, for example, was at Gamescom, and the setup wasn't the greatest. It was pretty loud, and ever since then it's been it's almost perfect now. Everything, the player's perfect for the players, and I don't know, I love it.
A lot of eyes are also on Sumail, and he has said that you've been a really great mentor to him. What has that been like for you to take him under your wing?
It's kind of just natural, I guess. It's just a new player. I've been around for a while, so he has questions. I teach him certain things that I've learned while playing for as long as I have, and I just pass it on to him. And it's not intentional. It's just I know these things, so it's I just say them naturally, and then I guess a lot of people learn from that.
Who are the other teams that you guys all have your eyes on as far as who might be the most competitive?
Oh, I think for the most part, it's pretty much Secret, and we really have a big eye on LGD2. We're pretty big rivals with Secret right now. They've beat us the last 2 grand finals we've been in, so we want revenge, of course, so we'd like to see them again, but LGD is also looking very strong as well, so those are the 2 that I'm looking at the most.
When March was in here after his victory, he gave us a nice enthusiastic yell. Is there anything that you want to get off your chest that we can help you with here today?
No, I don't do that.
You don't yell?
I don't do that.
Do you dance?
I don't do anything. I just play Dota.
You don't move.
No,
Nothing.
I'm a Dota playing machine.
And very serious, which is what I like, which is why you're so good. Do you do anything to blow off steam after a win like that? Do you go off and, I don't know, treat yourself to some chocolate or anything?
Normally we'll go out to dinner, and then we'll just sit back and maybe watch the replays, a nice Fiend session. That's about it.
I love it. Well, best of luck to you guys. I know we're going to be seeing more from you in a little bit, and we look forward to all of it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Casey, and thank you very much to Fear as well. Fantastic to see him in good spirits after the game as well. I was actually expecting him to say after he's finished a game of Dota, he just plays a game of Dota. I thought that was what he would do for relaxation, but nevertheless, fantastic to see him here. Fantastic. He's still got that burning passion, that desire to win. I remember in the film, you remember that burning desire to win the international, how disappointed he was to come out of it, and then obviously having 2 years away. I can't even imagine how much fire is under him right now to bring them a championship and finally crown himself as the international champion. He mentioned a couple of things in that. One is that they're still learning, Merlini, in terms of picks and bans and how different teams will pick against them and pick their player or pick their heroes that they want to play at. That's interesting, isn't it?
You're always still learning. The game evolves so much, and with I think balance patches coming out fairly often nowadays, and especially huge balance patches, there's always things you need to pick up, different hero pools, different play styles, different item builds, different laning scenarios, and players as experienced as Fear always has things to learn.
Okay, that's very interesting. Alan, what do you make of the interview?
No, I mean, I think that you saw in that interview, part of the reason why EG is so good, and Matt brought this up earlier, is they're the best team in the world, I think, at learning from their mistakes, both in wins and losses. I mean, Charlie, EG's manager, likes to say this all the time. We lose, we learn. Mm-hmm. And I think that applies to wins as well. It's partly why you never see them get too high after a win, because there's always something that they could have done better in that game. And, Fear talks about the Fiend session. They're going to go back to the hotel. They're going to watch those games, and they're going to say, look, guys, we played a great game too. I think we could do this even better.
Yeah. Winter, for complexity now, where do they go from here? They've dropped